that.
Hmm.
Without giving away your secrets, how do you how does how do you first like take a high level collegiate athlete, high level rep athlete, and say they want to get, well, what's one of the first, two or three things you look at
Yep.
to increase that vertical to put them in that Olympic slash pro level?
Yeah, I know. I can tell you really simply. When normally people that if you've never been taught how to jump, you don't know how to jump efficiently.
Oh yeah,
So
100%.
you got to learn how to jump efficiently. So my vertical jump program composed of three phases. Phase one is technique. So
Yeah,
teaching your body how to jump. How do you manipulate your speed? How do you manipulate your posture, your breathing?
yeah,
These are things that actually matter, have value. The second thing is strength training. So we're not Olympic lifters. We don't. It's a different science with vertical jump trainers.
yeah,
So how do you strength train for vertical jumping? So for example, when you're squatting, you're loading in the hips.
yeah,
That's where you're putting most of your emphasis on is hip mobility and driving through your hips. And that's where you're going to see your gains. And then the third thing is plyometrics rather.
yeah,
So plyometrics is vertical jump exercises. So how are you, doing things like that? So a real quick breakdown is, manipulating your speed. You got to make sure you're approaching. Every step's got to be fast. Your last two steps have to be your fastest. I'm sure you've heard that before. That's
yeah,
really interesting. It's really interesting to train athletes how to do that. Your posture, you don't want to be, slouched. You want to be nice and tall.
yeah.
You want your chest up.
It's probably why
Okay.
my ass can't jump anymore.
Yeah, it's
Jujitsu,
tough, man. Like
well,
it's just one of those things.
jujitsu ruined my posture. Like,
Oh, okay.
yeah, wrestling. Like my wife was always like, "Stop punching." I'm like, "Nah, that's how I jujitsu, man."
Right,
Yeah,
right. Yeah, there you go. And then when it comes to like just understanding, like the squat, for example, seeing athletes load in their hips and making sure they're driving through. And here, one interesting thing that's different about vertical jump training than any other Olympic type of lifting is, with Olympic lifters or lifters in general, when you're at that, like, let's say you're benching and you're at that like seventh, eighth rep, and you're just like push, 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 like just get it off you.
yeah,
You really try to push your body to another level that it's never been before to grow.
yeah.
Vertical jumping is different. We don't train that way. So we train our type 2 fast twitch fibers, not our long twitch fibers. So
That's
what
what I was
that
about
means
to
is,
ask. Yeah,
yeah,
that's it.
right. So you understand this is when you're hitting exhaustion, you need to stop
Yeah,
because now you're entering the realm of training the wrong fibers. So with vertical jump training, sometimes I'll take an athlete in the gym for 10 minutes and I'll say, "Hey, we're done.
yeah,
Your muscle fibers haven't recovered yet. You're not ready to train yet.
yeah,
Let's go back in recovery, and when we come back the next day, we'll see how it happens." And then so I'm looking, and anyone listening to this can attest, or you can try to do this in your gym.
yeah,
Look and see when are you hitting that point of exhaustion. That's
yeah.
your cue. Stop, take a break, try it again. If you are continuing to hit that point of exhaustion where you're not being as explosive anymore, then you've exhausted your type 2 fibers and you're done.
Well, that's the
Congratulations,
yeah,
you go home and
and
recover.
I think that's a lost art with weightlifting, strength training, and coaching in general because everyone's so upset. Like, I mean, I'm gonna use this as an example because I always use it as an example. Like, if you walk into any good life, you always see people doing fucking box jumps. It's just something people do. They jump on a box, and the first thing that pisses me off, they jump off the box. I'm like, well, why the hell did you jump off the box?
Right.
Jumping off the box had nothing to do with anything, and what you end up, like people will get mad at me because I'll set up a box for them to jump, and then I'll set up a smaller box for them to step down. They're like, don't you want me to jump down, jump? And I'm like, no. I'm like, first of all, the point is the jump, not the fall. That's a
Right.
separate training method on how to, take a landing properly. And secondly, every time you jump off of a box or you're practicing plyometrics and you make contact with the ground, you're compressing your spine and your knees. And over time, that's going to lead to less explosiveness and injury for that matter. Right? That's the first thing I always see when people are training like any explosive plyometric jumping. They're always up, down, like no, stop jumping down, step down, reset. It's the point of what you're trying to achieve is explosiveness and the highest you can jump, say for example vertical. You shouldn't be repetitively doing it over and over and over again.
You're not wrong.
That's just exercise, which is not wrong, but don't tell like if the goal and the method of your sport, for example, if you're training an athlete for his NFL combine, vertical jump is one of the testing measures that they do. Well, you're not going to be doing 10 box jumps back to back to back to back. It has no bearing on the actual vertical at all.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
You're not
and
wrong.
there's other I forgot the method name, but it was one of the methods where they do one rep and then they
One
go
rep
away.
max.
Yeah, they just do one rep, no, one explosive rep of whatever exercise it is
Yeah.
at a heavy weight, and then you go away, go do something else, and then you come back 10 minutes later and then do one rep again. And they found that that was very effective into building that explosiveness. Now, it might not apply to jump training specifically, but
Yeah.
in terms of explosive training, which is what volleyball athletes are,